How are you feeling? Oh, the stream is live. Perfect. Let's wait a few seconds for everyone to join.
So do you see how many people have been joined us? It's always interesting, like how many people are watching us live.
StreamYard. I don't see it yet, but we actually had at least 300 registrations yesterday, so probably even more today. So I expect somewhere like between 1 and 200 live viewers.
Oh, yeah, this is cool.
So let's begin. My name is Seva Ustinov. I'm the founder of Plurio. We're building AI agents for performance marketing teams. We work with companies spending over $500,000 per month on digital channels like Google Ads, Meta Ads, TikTok, and others, and generate leads, signups, trials from their ads. So like consumer software, fintech, health tech, like long funnels, delayed conversions, LTV. Yeah, and me personally, I've been in performance marketing for 20 plus years. I built an agency first, then data platform, now AI agents. And today we're launching a series of webinars, talks about performance marketing teams of the future. Here in this series, we are going to talk with practitioners with real experience, large-scale budgets, top brands, and discuss how they transition their workflows and their understanding and practices from doing things manually or old way to gradually transition to AI workflows. And so we'll discuss what can be given to AI already, what stays with human, what are the roles, how all of that changes, and all of that from people practicing that every day. Let me introduce our speakers. The first one will be Max Epifanov. He is a VP of Performance Marketing at TripleTen. It's a Neobio subsidiary. They're spending $1.5 million per month on ads, launching hundreds of video creatives every month. Also, Max is the author of an amazing performance marketing course. I watched it myself. A lot of my friends watched it. I stay in the community. So it's great. And Max will show us 3 cases what their team already automated. Then we'll talk with Matt Shenton. He's a director at the biddable director at Croud, 15 plus years in paid search, worked with Amazon Prime Video, Skillshare, and he is a host of a great podcast, Paid Search New York podcast. Yeah, we'll discuss what's happening on the platform side, like Google, Meta, and then we'll see what Ivan Zamesin have to present us. He is an author of Advanced Jobs to be Done framework, helped 40 plus companies. I think at least tens of thousands of people, of product managers, learned his framework and achieved great results. And today he'll tell us how to apply that to performance marketing offers and things like that. So, hope everyone is here, everyone who wanted to join. Let's begin with the first. Yeah, hi everyone. Say hi in the comments, by the way, because I still don't see how many people are live. So it would be great to see real feedback. And let's start with Max. Like I said, Max is a VP of Performance Marketing, and he's going to show a few really interesting cases to us today. Max, take the scene.
So first of all, hello everybody, and this is great that you come today, to see our cases. And Seva, thanks you a lot for this warm introduction. As you said before, I work in TripleTen. TripleTen is a huge tech global company, and I'm responsible for the whole user acquisition in TripleTen. Basically, my main goal is to manage a team who runs different marketing channels and make it efficient. And I want to present today 3 cases which are the most important for us in TripleTen and which has the most value in terms of the business effect. So I will demonstrate my screen. Just give me a minute. So may you see my screen? Now I'm presenting it. Seva, Matt. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Or I think it should work. But I'm not hearing anybody here. I see that.
It does work. It's just when I'm removed from speakers, you can't hear me.
Oh,
so
okay.
Everything's perfect with screen sharing. Go on.
So hello everybody again. So let's go and dive into our cases. So basically, like 6 months ago, when we had a strategic session in TripleTen and marketing team, we made a decision to try to figure out and understand like how can we incorporate AI in our performance and marketing processes. And I want to show you like 3 cases, our marketing cases, which are very important for us. First is, so how can we use AI agent and how we'll connect AI agent into our analytics and reporting system? And so how can AI agent help us to make some decisions with our marketing campaigns? So this will be the first one. The second will be, so how do we use Claude Code and Lovable in order to create some lead gen funnels and projects without the dev team? So basically, we create a lot of landing pages and marketing funnels with AI, and it works pretty efficient. And the third one will be pretty easy. So about AI video creatives and how do we use AI in video creative production. So let's start. I hope that you will be able to ask me any questions. So if you see something, just ask me, and I'm really, really happy to answer. So this is the first one, and I'm not going to show you any slides. I'm going to show you actually how it works right now. And here's the thing, like we are, as a TripleTen, as a marketing team, so we work in the US market and we have a lot of marketing channels. So we work with Meta, we work with TikTok, we work with paid search, we work with YouTube. So our monthly budget is pretty huge. And of course, we have our internal analytics system and reports as every marketer has. So we have reports, which shows us like our campaigns level, creatives level, shows us all our metrics from spends to purchases. And my acquisition team, on the daily basis, they go to reports and they try to make some decisions like, so what campaigns do we have to scale? What creatives do we have to optimize? What creatives do we have to turn off? So basically, this is like a daily routine of my performance team. But we were thinking about like, if you have as a company, as a team, if you manage like 4 or 5 marketing channels, if you have hundreds of campaigns, if you test, like as we test hundreds creatives per month. So this is a pretty challenging for the manager to make decisions very fast. So, and I do believe like if you wanna understand like what campaigns you have to scale, what creatives you have to turn off. So I do believe that it can be fully automatized because how manager actually works. So he go to reporting system, he see actual metrics for all channels, campaigns, and creative. Then he compares these actual metrics with targets. And if actual metrics is better than a target, so we make a decision to scale this campaign. So this is a pretty simple. And we were thinking about like, what if we delegate this routine work from humans to the AI agent? So, and we started to work with Seva, actually, with the Plurio agent. And I just want to show you because I really love to present this case because this is my favorite one. So it actually changes a lot how we now in performance team, how we manage our campaigns. So what we decided to do, so we decided to connect our marketing internal reports and data with an AI agent Plurio and ask Plurio to help us to make decisions better. So how it works. So first of all, we connected our data, like Plurio has all our metrics from our database, like for all campaigns, creatives, keywords, like all metrics, spans, impressions, leads, calls, and purchases. So this is the first one. And it's this data automated like updated automatically on the daily basis. So this is the first one. The second one, so we, for the first time, we try to work with just ChatGPT. But if you work with just ChatGPT, actually, this is the problem that ChatGPT doesn't have a full context about your projects, about your funnels, about your metrics. So it's very difficult, like your updated data about your company. And here is a very great thing like context. Context actually is information that you as a marketer, so you have to provide for an AI agent. That AI agent can better understand like your product, your company, your audience. For example, we described here all our marketing funnels that we use with all our campaigns. We described here all our metrics, like what is a lead for us, what is a deal for us, how do we identify what is a purchase for us. So we actually create a huge context for our agent. So one of my favorite one, this is a context for campaign budget optimization for all channels. So basically we described the whole process, how we as managers, how we make decisions with our campaigns. So this is a huge document where we describe to an agent like what metrics do you have to compare, so what targets do we use, and this is the first very important one. So, and for now, if you have all your data, if your AI agent has all of your data, and also you provided your contacts about how you as a marketer, how you make decision, one of the most important things that we started to use is actions. Because as I said before, I do believe that such actions like relocating budgeting or creative optimization, so this is very easy because we just have to compare one metric with another one and make a decision. And here's an example. For example, what we decided to create like some actions for increasing the budget for all our campaigns. So here's the rule for YouTube channel. And basically, we asked AI agent to use our main important metrics like calls and qualified calls, like target calls. We ask AI agent to look at this data, to compare actual numbers with our targets. And if actual numbers are better than targets, we just have to increase the budget for this specific campaign. It is very easy. So, and I can actually, what I can do, I can execute this rule. And now AI agent will show me what specific campaigns is going to be increased in terms of budget. So we can see there are two campaigns, the first one and the second one. You can also see that these two campaigns are recommended in terms of budget increasing. And I see here why. What is the reason? The reason is because your actual metrics, which you describe to your agents, are better than your targets. And this is the reason why you have to, as a marketer, why do you have to increase the budget? So if I approve here, the budget will be increased. And this is very cool because now as a human, like as an acquisition manager, you don't have to do it manually. So you can actually just ask your AI agent to increase the budget on the daily basis or on the basis, like on the schedule that you decide. So This is a cool example because the agent here, it started at 1 p.m. and I see that my manager, he executed this rule, and I see that the recommendation was approved by my manager, so it's completed. It actually shows that the budget will be increased. And it's same for like all other channels, not only for YouTube channels, but also for search quiz channel. I see that this specific campaign shows great result because actual numbers, which we received for the past 7 days, better than targets. Of course, we have to increase the budget for this specific campaign. And it's not only working with like budget optimization, it's also working with like creatives, with ad sets, with all objects that we use in acquisition team. And now what we do, we automatically decrease the budget for our campaigns, increase the budget for our campaigns. We automatically stop the less efficient creatives that we use. So, and I do believe that it really, really saves us like tons of time in terms of campaign management because we have like hundreds campaign, hundreds ad sets, and a lot of creatives that we use. So this is the first one, which I really love. The second one, which is also very impressive, is like as we work in marketing, we always test different funnels with our campaigns. Like for example, here's an example. Like here's like an interactive quiz, which will be very useful for our target audience because our target audience, people who want to get into tech, and they don't know what specific profession do they want to choose. And we just created a very simple quiz, like find your ideal tech job. So this is interactive. You can answer these questions, and then you will get a result that's your suitable profession is a software developer. But the thing is that we have different segments, and we want to test different lead gen funnels, not only quiz like what is your future tech profession, and we can create like we want to create some different alternatives. And previously you had to use a lot of dev and design resources in order to create these funnels, but now we was using Claude Code as the main basis and Lovable, we created like such funnels which are very, very important in our marketing mix. This is an example, like this is the second funnel that we use right now in all our channels, one day in cybersecurity. Basically, it's a game where you can test yourself as a cybersecurity engineer. And you can see here that it's pretty nice. It's very interactive. So you can use all your mechanics like quizzes. You can also chat here. Like he will ask you, what is your name? My name is Max. And then he will ask me to provide my email and phone number. Just, yeah. So we created this specific funnel, which is the second popular in all our marketing, just for 7 days with using Claude Code in Lovable. And we did not use any dev resources when we were developing this funnel. So this funnel was developed fully by the marketer. First, he used Claude Code in order to create ideas and mechanics and the whole flow. And then we extract all the code and put it in the Lovable. And then we published this funnel on our domain. So, and we spent more than $100,000 on the first funnel. It shown pretty great results. That's why we created another funnel for another segment for people who want to learn AI and machine learning. And this is also a quiz, which is pretty nice. The design is very good. Everything is very good. So I just want to say that if you want to create some lead gen funnels like researches or quizzes or some interactive projects, so you don't need a developer now or a designer now. So you can create all of this with using Claude Code, just only Claude Code, even without Lovable. We use Lovable just because we used to work with Lovable before. That's why we first created in Claude Code and then we published the website on our domain in Lovable. But this is my recommendation to test any hypothesis like without developers. And the third one is pretty simple. This is just, I think that's a lot of marketing teams, they use this a lot. So of course we work in performance, and if you work with performance, you have to test a lot of creatives. And the fastest way is to create like hundreds of creatives is to use AI. And previously, maybe like 6, maybe 7 months ago, when you tried to create AI video, it didn't look natural. But now I just want to show you one of the example of one creative that's already was spent around $80,000, which is huge. This is fully AI video, which shows great results. And I can just show you that now you can create video creatives which can look very natural. I think that in order to listen to this, I think somebody from maybe Seva, you can share it. We discussed it before. If you can assist me maybe with this, or somebody. We do not hear, I think. Yeah, we're not hearing the sound. But anyway, like you can read captions, and the sound is great. Like the voice is great here. Maybe if we can somehow to, I don't know how, but still, if you wanna watch it, just watch it from the chat. I put the link in the chat. Just wanna show you that now video creatives, they can look very natural. And so 3 cases that I wanted to show you. The first one, that's we connected our marketing data with AI agent that helps us and save tons of hours for my acquisition team and help my acquisition team to make actions more objectively. Because if you're a human, and if there's a question like we have to increase the budget, sometimes you can make mistakes just because sometimes you are scared to make an action like increase the budget. Sometimes you just forget to do an action for some reason. And I do believe that to make it process like as a system and more objectively, you can definitely delegate this process for an AI. This was the first. The second was that we use lead gen project. And the third one, that we create creatives. Like this is the top three that I wanted to share with you. Yeah, let's discuss it.
Thank you, Max. I will have just 2 questions. One from the audience. What's the stack do you use for video creatives? Is it Clink, Google AI Studio?
So we use 2 models, Crea and Clink. Yeah.
And to use like directly or via Higgsfield or other software?
I think, I mean, like we have a production video producer who knows it better. I know that, to be honest, I know that they use them all. Like sometimes they use Higgsfield, like sometimes they use separately only model. But yeah, this is like this question was very popular for me. And my producer, he told me like to like Clink and Creo, but he also, I know that he uses also Higgsfield as well.
Got it. Well, we should have him on our
definitely. He's more an expert than me here.
And the second question, how do you feel, how the time allocation and overall efficiency changes for the whole team?
So to be honest, like previously, when I had a question, when I had a task to understand, like among all campaigns that we have right now, like what campaigns do we have to scale among all hundreds of campaigns? I think I had to dive like maybe for 3-4 hours into our analytics, internal analytics, just to fully understand like what specific campaigns do we have to scale. And I think like from 3 hours to like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. So it saved a lot, because when you have like 10 campaigns in Meta, and in each campaign you have 3, 4 ad sets, and it's not like easy to understand like what specific ad set do you have to scale, because you have to compare the data for the past 7 days with the data for the past 14 days. So this is a process. Like now we just incorporated this process into an agent. An agent can make it just faster.
Got it. Okay, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Let's move to Matt Shenton. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Seva. Hey, everyone.
Yeah, so Matt is a... let's start with introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your projects, your highlights.
Yeah, sure. So I am a biddable director at a global marketing agency called Croud. I have been at this agency for quite a while, 9 years this week, actually, and in digital marketing, performance marketing for about 15 years. Most of my experience is in paid search, but I do cover all performance marketing channels. And today I'm going to be talking about how we think about almost like where to draw the lines with automation. I think a lot of the challenges we have as like the agency or the activation teams is what's the technology we should get excited about and deploy, and then where is it kind of still being developed, and where do humans come in? And I think there's a lot of value for our clients to be able to explain that. So I'm going to be hopefully talking a little bit about that and making that a bit clearer.
Perfect. We have like 130 people live, maybe more already. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'll take it away. So yes, I'm going to talk about how we think about automation, and right now where we see humans coming into the loop versus AI, and a little bit around how we see that changing and how to think about the future. So I'll start off by talking about the timeline. So for those of you who've been in platform, whether it's Google Ads, Meta, etc., will know that there's been a gradual change in the work we do for some time now, and that's always been in the vein of automation. So if you go all the way back to 2010, so manual control, we were doing manual bidding, very, very manual keyword builds. In 2015, we were getting our first taste of like automation assisted, so like rules-based automation, smart bidding. I remember the first target CPA strategies coming out around then. So then we're moving away from doing that bidding ourselves. Move forward to 2020, we're getting things like Performance Max, we're getting Broad Match. Then we're getting automation in those products around like targeting and keyword selection. And then move over to today, we're now obviously dealing with like AI, black box systems that are controlling more of that kind of abstract things that were harder or required more context. So the point here is like there's been a gradual sort of move towards automation. You could definitely argue that today, in the last couple of years, that the speed of automation has definitely increased. But I guess the point here is like it's not completely new to us in the platform. In terms of how the old team and the new team look, I think the old team, it's probably a good way to summarize it as like very execution based. The work we were doing as an agency or in-house, probably 5-10 years ago was largely execution, so builds, reporting, testing. The new team, I think, is probably best summarized as it's built around judgment. So AI is handling all those manual builds and creative testing and uploads. We're, as humans, in charge of the context. And actually, Max mentioned context quite a lot, and I'll mention it as well. It's really important. And one of the main things humans are responsible for is providing the systems with that context and signals so that they can operate as best they can. One way to visualize that, if we think about like the cognitive stack, and this for me helps sort of visualize where AI is and where it's going and kind of where humans start to come in, is if you imagine where AI is very strong is execution. And execution is pretty much table stakes for agencies and in-house practitioners now. And the reason AI is very strong there is because it's dealing with vast amounts of data, it's very clean data, and the inputs and outputs are fairly well defined. Like there isn't too much ambiguity in, say, Google's bidding strategy. It's got clean data, it knows what it's going after. as you come down or through that cognitive stack into like optimization, AI is still very strong, but you probably start to introduce like a level of context and ambiguity that the system might not be able to deal with as well. Keep going down into decisioning and strategy. Again, this word context, the level of context increases in these situations. And so AI's ability to function and sort of do all of that work is reduced. So I was thinking about this like context, complexity through this cognitive stack. Another way to visualize that would be like this. So if you imagine AI capability on the left axis there, and then context complexity, you could almost plot like how this looks today. So execution, as I mentioned, very easy for AI, moving into optimization, and then decisioning and rule setting, we're starting to get into like context complexity and where we're going to need like where humans must own. And this is really helpful for us as agency people, because it's almost like a blueprint or a starting point for like what is absolute table stakes? Where should we be automating? What are the areas we absolutely should not be doing manual in a manual way? And that's obviously very much to the left, execution and optimization. I think as time goes on, and if we think about how this plays out with AI developing, no doubt AI is going to move down this curve as it's able to deal with messier data and these models get better. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where we hit the limit, and whether that's a limit we hit because of, I don't know, literally lack of data or compute, or maybe the sort of AI hype cycle takes a bit of a step back. I think there probably will be a limit at some point along this curve. Be interesting to see where that is. So if we take like an example of like how a campaign build has changed. So, 5 years ago, manual construction, you're putting it together yourself. There might be a few automated bits, but it's still very much you're controlling the inputs, you're putting stuff together manually. Shifting to today, it's like AI assisted. Your inputs have leveled up a level. So instead of like the specific keywords, you're putting in like the URL or the feed, and the sort of AI is then building out from there. And then as you get further down into the future, I guess the input just levels up again. So instead of putting in like a URL, you're giving it a goal. And so it's just able to deal with that level of build and complexity much better based on that input. If we map that out as like a process, so then in the above section, you've got like starting off with keyword research all the way through to like launch QA, optimize, test, and report and analyze. That's the then. The bottom section is now. This is one way we think about like, okay, so if we take this process, where is AI coming in, and where are humans controlling that part of the workflow? I think the reason that's important is because, again, it helps us understand where we need to focus from an AI tool perspective, whether it's partnering with a third party like Plurio or trying to build it ourselves. This is the starting point to understand what is feasible and what should we own, and what's the sort of cognitive complexity or context complexity. You could even add like a measure of that right now, and that's kind of how we approach it sometimes is, okay, let's take this whole workflow. What does it look like end to end? What's the starting point? What's the end point? What are the individual elements of that process? What's the complexity? What's the kind of context that's going to be so difficult to bring into that for a machine? And what's part of that process is just very simple from a context perspective. So we map it out like this, and then can decide like how to bring in tech, and then where humans should control the process. So I've talked a lot about context. AI can't, in terms of AI can and can't see. So observable context in the example of like paid search would be clicks and conversions, revenue, on platform behavior. What it's moving into as you get access to it is CRM data, more customer data, being able to find the right people, or more high value people. The unobservable context today is probably this kind of fluffier stuff, brand perception, future demand, strategic trade-offs. And I think, again, AI will start to creep into this a little bit, but I think there will be a limit at some point where, whether it's lack of data context or some other limitation, this is the sort of thing I think will probably stay with humans for at least the immediate future. But even when that changes, we'll obviously just level up and take up the next thing in that cognitive stack. So in terms of where AI wins today, I think I've probably touched on most of these, but like bidding and budget allocation is very much an automated AI responsibility. Same with audience and signal expansion. The tools we have in platforms like Meta and Google now are very, very good, providing you give them the right inputs, going after the right people and finding the right people, and also staying within like an efficiency guardrail. Creative iteration, Max showed some great examples there of creative. That's getting better all the time. Being able to create those, but also like control the rotation of those within the platform is obviously an AI process. And then anomaly detection rules. We have tools and processes that do this pretty well now, that kind of pick out and troubleshoot performance dips or other anomalies or things that don't look right, and then surface recommendations and changes. Last few things I'll talk about. So there's a great book, I think it's called Digital Marketing in an AI World. I think it was that book, and it talked about 3 different roles that humans would play in like this AI world. And this book was written, I think, like 5-6 years ago. So I think anything that was written 5-6 years ago about AI that you could still apply today feels like it stands the test of time fairly well. But it talks about this idea that there is a doctor role, a pilot role, and a teacher role. The doctor is there to like troubleshoot and diagnose when something goes wrong. So a little bit like I mentioned there with those like performance dips, being able to come in and sort of troubleshoot that. The pilot is more the day-to-day, hands-on, guiding the system and dealing with that. And then the teacher, you could almost see as maybe like the person who controls the inputs or the infrastructure in terms of what's going into these platforms, or these platforms need to do a better job. I think these sort of bucket the roles of a potential digital marketing practitioner fairly well. And like I said, it was written a long time ago and it still applies today. So it feels like there's probably some merit in it going forward. Last few things, Tinker Trap. I think, again, anyone who's in platform will know that over managing these systems has a negative impact. So if you're pausing campaigns too early, if you're interrupting the learning phase, if you're making very micro adjustments, like this stuff doesn't work well in the system, and it kind of disrupts the system. So there's almost this skill to develop, which is like knowing when to intervene and when not to. And again, I think that many people who've been in the platforms will know like learning phases and be very familiar with that terminology. But I think it's going to continue that we're going to be challenged to like not make too many changes and know when to sort of back off. In terms of where automation like really breaks from our point of view, we've talked a lot about context, essentially inputs. Any kind of bad input situation, the system's going to fall down. It's not going to achieve what you want it to achieve. Loss of visibility, I think as a practitioner, that's a challenge, because if we're dealing with like very black box situations, it can be hard for us to know what's going on, and that leads to a trust issue. Learning phase disruption, I've talked about, making too many changes during that time. Misaligned objectives comes back to context and signal. Again, if those aren't correct in the system or misaligned, you're not going to get the output you want. Overscale, poor creative. So again, I think this comes back to signals. You're putting in poor inputs, you're getting poor outputs. And then conflicting constraints. So where you're not everything is completely aligned in terms of the sort of objective. And where says human, my last slide. I've talked a lot about context, and hopefully you've got a flavor for kind of where humans add value today. But if I was to try and define it in 3 or 4, it would be, we're very much defining what success means still, working with clients to understand what that looks like. What counts as value? What are those inputs? Understand the human on the other end and the sort of abstract nature that comes with that. And then making sure we're setting those system boundaries. So what are the guardrails around these systems? They're very powerful systems, but they still have the ability to lead to an undesirable output if we're not very strict with the inputs and the boundaries. That's me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. Amazing. We have a few questions here. So the first one will be from me. Could you share maybe a couple of examples from your cases, from projects you worked on, both ways, when human intervened a lot and that didn't work well, and vice versa?
Yes, that is a good question. So lots of human intervention. I would say actually where we've got clients that have short-term and lots of activations. So there's lots of volatility. I think we still find there is value in sort of human input there to make sure that we're being very strict with what we're going live with and when. because the level of change, if you're going live with lots of like micro campaigns that are all quite different, is that the system generally isn't able to scale as quickly or isn't able to find a commonality across all of them in our experience so far. So I think, yeah, that kind of activation complexity is one where humans have sort of human coming in has had an advantage. And then the question was like the opposite, so like too much intervention. I think actually last year during like peak period, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, prior to that year, we had been told that like seasonal adjustments using those had been like a really great way to like bid up very quickly and bid down very quickly. But I think the system actually got better last year in that, because that's like a very known situation, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the system was actually better at coming up and coming down at the right time. You didn't need to go in and like manually try and force it up and down. So we had clients actually do better because they kind of left the system alone a little bit in that situation versus like trying to over-engineer. So that's where my mind goes. I think within paid search, annoyingly, it does depend a lot with the client in terms of like their niche and the amount of data. So it's always good to go in with like a rough logic and understanding of how these systems work, but also test that and try different scenarios to make sure that you're on the money.
Cool, got it. Okay, another question from the audience. Do you control marketing/brand requirements strategy in ads? I think it's about AI and automation and doing its thing versus brand requirements.
Yes. So I mean, I've used quite a few platforms now that allow you to add in that kind of brand messaging, brand guidelines in order to like output creative. They're getting better and better, and I think actually some of the things I've seen recently are pretty good. I have no doubt that if you have very clear written out brand guidelines and you ingest that into an LLM or a system or an AI, it probably is going to output, if not today, very soon, something that feels very on brand and usable. The key thing is you've still got to QA it and make sure it is, but it feels like as long as you have like the clear brand guideline as an input, it comes back to inputs again. If you've got a very clear input, you've used that with a very powerful AI system. I think we are seeing examples where that works quite well, but again, you've got to check, verify, make sure you're happy with it.
That's a good point. And actually, like, how do you like get that intuition where to trust AI and automation platforms and where to control it?
Yeah, I think the way I think about that is almost like what's the downside risk? So the downside risk with creative and branding is that you have something that's off-brand, and that for many, if not all brands, isn't acceptable to have anything that's off-brand or represents their brand in the wrong way. So that's a high-risk scenario. If you are, I don't know, let's say you're building a campaign in Google Ads and it doesn't go live straight away. It's created in a pause state. Like that's a low risk situation because I can still go in and QA it before it's live. There are two random examples, but hopefully you get the point. It's like, what's the downside risk of handing this off? And am I okay with that level of risk? If not, then obviously you want to be in the loop. I think that comes back to really understanding your process end to end. What does that look like? What are the touch points you need to make sure you're happy with the next thing being passed off in that chain, in that process. Yeah.
Got it. One more question from the audience. Can we rely on AI-driven insights for defining target audience, customer discovery before we launched campaigns and like it collected enough data?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I would think first again about the inputs. Like, what do we feel like the system is getting the right inputs to be accurate in what it's providing us? I feel like that's probably one of those things that I probably would still want to verify somehow, because it has, again, implications and some risks for how our campaign is going to do. I guess I guess it depends on the kind of campaign you're going to run. Because if it's like a performance marketing campaign in like Meta or Google, then obviously you're not worrying about audience insights from like a pure targeting point of view. You're probably worrying about it more from like a creative point of view. So yeah, for me, that feels like today something that is very useful to get you really valuable information, but something you probably pair with another source. And that could be your knowledge of the brand, your knowledge of the audience, or some other source. But I think it serves as a really good like way to get you like fast information. But yeah, again, I probably verify with another source.
Okay, makes sense. One more question on the same note. When do we trust both Google and Meta with their recommendations? Because like previously, I remember they, like their incentive is to sell more ads. And sometimes they just suggest things that doesn't make any sense. Placements, targetings.
Yeah, you're trying to get me in trouble, Seva.
I mean, their algorithms are great. They're finding amazing audiences and all of that. And sometimes there are strange recommendations. They actually work out to good outcomes and performance. But still, like, how do you approach this? Like, what to test and when to agree and when not?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I feel like it's changing all the time, just with how fast all this technology is moving. And I totally get that there is like an element of, well, what's the incentive for the platform? The platform is there in some ways to drive more revenue, but at the same time, to your point, like these platforms are very, very good at also achieving the brand's business goals, driving revenue, driving sales. So it's finding that balance and finding what you're comfortable with. I think at a very like tactical, specific level, from my experience as like a practitioner, I know over the years that there are certain settings or things that have been turned on in Google that I would be very worried about doing because of how they performed in the past. But that just comes from like my experience. I think if you level that out, what it comes back to is probably inputs and outputs again. So the reason that particular setting didn't work very well is because the system arguably didn't have the right inputs to be able to go and do the right thing, and it was an input/goal misalignment. So I guess maybe that's one way to frame it. If you could feed these platforms with completely perfect data in every way, then you probably should be able to trust them completely. But the reality is you're not able to feed it completely perfect data. So it comes down to like, what are the data limitations and where do they create possible goal misalignment? Hard question to answer. Differs by every client, but that's how I think about it.
Got it. Okay. Last question. A few words about your community, where to subscribe, how to participate.
Cool. Yes. Thank you. So I have a YouTube channel, Paid Search NYC, put out an episode now and then, and fairly active on LinkedIn, talking about paid search, AI. So find me on there. Yeah, I think that's probably the main two right now, my main focus.
Perfect. By the way, we'll send all their presentations, slides, recording, and contacts of all the speakers to everyone who signed up. I forgot to ask the same question from Max, but we'll send everything to everyone.
Sounds good. Yeah, okay. I need to sign up to Max's course as well. That sounds great.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Matt. See you sometime in the future.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, Ivan.
Hey.
Long time no see. So many books. I love your background all the same.
Thank you. How you doing?
So Ivan is from the product management community, and I'm sure most of the audience knows who Ivan is, but for those who don't, Ivan is the author of frameworks, Advanced Jobs to be Done, and Aura, and they are amazing. They help people to switch from like randomly exploring things, trying to find what works, to a structured process that helps understand what you're actually doing, what's your audience, what you're selling, how to do that, and so on. So Ivan, add something to your introduction, and let's start with the presentation.
Thank you. My name is Ivan. I'm developing Aura and Advanced Jobs to be Done frameworks for the last 8 years. As a product manager, I was working on my gut feelings and on my occasional insights, but this is really bad way to get predictable revenue, to launch new products, to grow existing ones. And I had to rebuild the jobs to be done from scratch. I'm succeeded. Thousands of companies build products using my frameworks. And today I'm going to show how I build my own products, how I make landing pages, add copies with Claude skills based on my frameworks. And at the end of the speech, I will share these skills with you if you're interested. Let me share the screen. Yeah. Do you see the screen?
Yep.
All right. So right now you see on the screen my main tools as a product manager, and my team is working with the same set of tools. This is Visual Studio Code, and this is Claude Code running in terminal. You can, of course, use Claude Code as a plugin in Visual Studio Code. This is the same thing as Claude Code in terminal in this right pane. And I prefer using a terminal because it's more robust. It has more capabilities. So you can use the plugin, you can use the terminal. It's the same thing. So the Visual Studio Code is the tool made by developers for developers, and by some irony, this is one of the best tools for product managers, for marketers right now. And I'm going to show you today 5 skills that I have created using my own frameworks and that I use on a daily basis. The first skill is to generate product requirement documents. The second skill is to make landing page copy, to make ad copy, to roast the landing page, and to generate customer segments. I won't be able to show how these skills work in real time because each skill takes around from 15 to 40 minutes to finish, and I will show you results of some skills. And I will demonstrate one skill at least. We're going to roast a landing page. Seva, do you have an idea which landing page you would like to roast?
Oh, ours.
I have already roasted yours. You can choose another one.
Do you have your own landing page?
Okay, let's use my own landing page. So let's start roasting AJTBD.com. This is the landing page of my online course. And the skill is gonna roast it. It started working, and at the same time, I'm gonna launch another Claude Code instance. I'm gonna show you the result of product requirements skills. So I invite you to go one level up. I teach product managers, I teach marketers, and one of the main theme I focus on is customer segmentation and choosing the right job or the right jobs from the Jobs to be Done framework for your product. Because the primary goal of our product is to fulfill a job or many jobs for our customers. And the value is how we perform these jobs easier, faster, for less money, with higher quality for the customer. And the offer, the communication, the landing page copy, the ad copy, the real scenarios, this is all about communicating. We're gonna perform all the jobs you have better than you expect. If you have any fears, everything's gonna be all right. This is the basis of communication. And I teach thousands of students every year, and one of the most satisfied customer segment of my own product are marketers, because when they know how to segment customers based on their job similarities, not by demographics, not by industry, not a business size, but by job similarity, they have similar sets of jobs, they get the highest leverage in their work in comparison to any other activities they can do. Choosing or switching from existing, not the best ones, to really best customer segments, based on the customer segment size, based on your ability to create additional value, based on your ability to create demand, on if you have channels, if you have expertise how to acquire these customers from these channels, customers from this customer segment through these channels, based on your unit economics, based on your ability to upsell, cross-sell, etc. Switching to best customer segment, choosing the best customer jobs. This is the highest leverage activity you can make as a marketer on any day for any product. And when you have chosen the best customer segment, and when you have chosen the best job or set of jobs for your product, your work is becoming much easier. Value creation is much easier. Communication is much easier. So I'm going to show you a result of product requirement skill. It has generated three documents. This is the first one, the prd.md. And let's have a quick overview of this document. So I have an online course for how to launch your first product with vibe coding. And this skill, I can launch it with prd.md. It asked a few questions from me. It asked what was the idea of the product, was the so I have described the product, and it asked 10 questions, and based on my answers, it generated this document. The main idea of skills, and I promote using skills in my own company and across my students. The main idea of using skills is to increase your average quality of your work across many instances, across different days, across different instances of your work. So each and every act, each and every day you're working is becoming a little bit or much with much higher quality. So this document this skill generates target segments and their jobs. So it suggested 3 customer segments, non-technical founders, and their core job is to build and launch work in MVP myself. Solo entrepreneurs handle the entire product lifecycle, and product managers seeking career acceleration learn to build functional prototypes. Using my framework, it generates aha moment, and here's the detailed list of customer segments with all the jobs to be done. And based on the customer segments and based on their jobs, it started building the idea of the product. So it's built the curriculum, it's built the requirements for learning platform, etc. It's pretty big. I'm not gonna explain all the details of this document. I'm gonna show you it's found the competition. It was working for 40 minutes, and usually its research is pretty good. It's from all right to awesome. On average, it's pretty good. And this is the document I can use the success metrics. This is the document I can use to generate landing page copy, to write, to make an MVP, to wipe code an MVP, etc. So using these product requirements, I've launched the second skill. You can find it in .claude folder, in skills folder. It's called landing page copy. It's using customer segments and their jobs, and based on my framework, based on the advanced jobs to be done and the structure of the advanced jobs to be done, it generates landing page copy. It has around 10 landing page sections. It's hero section, core job plus value, micro jobs, aha moment, value proposition by job, etc. Customer recognizes himself, herself, how it works, etc. So if you launching landing pages, funnels with skills like this, of course, at the end of the speech, I will share you. You'll be able to get all the skills for yourself. Using skills like this, mine, or you can create your own, you are able to automate and make every instance of your work to increase the quality of your instance, because Claude Code, Opus in Claude Code, is not lazy. Humans are lazy. It, with good context structure, it doesn't forget anything. It can think in many ways that you are lazy to think, or you didn't have this idea. And for me, Claude Code is a great thinking partner. I love launching new products. I love creating new growth or product ideas with Claude Code. It's really amazing. This is the best thing that happened for me as a product manager. And you can do literally thousands of landing pages in a day. Literally thousands of funnels, thousands of hypotheses. The only thing, the bottleneck is your energy, is your ability to think clearly, to make good enough decisions. And these skills, any skill, but good enough skills, this is the bliss for manager. This is the bliss for marketers. So right now I'm gonna show you how to, let's make a landing page HTML based on landing page copy. I'm showing him the address to the document with the landing page copy. Use design and color theme, color scheme that are for my customer segments, and open it in my browser. So it's gonna work for 5 to 10 minutes and will generate an HTML file. We have an agent roasting my own website. Let's check the result of Plurio roasting. So we have a roast report. So what does the skill what's the idea of the skill? It's reading the website. It's reading all the information from the website. It started generating customer segments. There is also a skill for segments. We can launch the skill right now. For Plurio.io. So this is the skill that is generating customer segments, the best customer segments, the biggest customer segments with ability to create additional value with potentially good enough unit economics. So this skill generate customer segments, checked if this product is focusing on the best customer segment or not, and if this landing page is using all the all the desired or necessary blocks to communicate the value, the idea of the product, to decrease fears for the desired segment. So, Seva, sorry, there is some comments. No target segment.
No, I love it.
The page lists 14 industries and speaks to performers marketers generically. The carpet bombing, not targeting. The page is feature catalog, 18 plus abstractions violations. Only few blocks from all the possible blocks you have, only one call to action. Here are all the segments: growth stage, B2C, SaaS, performance marketers, commerce media buyers, etc. Here are all the core jobs. Are they triggered partially, no, 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 no. Here's the recommended segment. Here's the audit block by block. Here's the conversion factors. And here's the rewritten landing page copy. So this skill took the most desired customer segment based on the Opus 4.6 idea, and rewritten using the Aura framework with all the blocks that potentially can increase your conversion rates. Let's get back to the roasting. It's global. It's generating customer segments. And this plugin, this skill is generating HTML file. And the last skill is add copy. Add copy is taking prd.md as an input, prd.md or customer segments as an input, and it's using formulas like core job for a big job. For example, build your MVP to find out your idea is a business. If your idea is a business, so build your MVP is a core job. Find out your idea is a business. The formula: core job for a big job. Core job is low-level job. Big job is the motivation. It's higher-level job. And you have many formulas. You have core job plus value. Build and deploy your MVP 6 weeks under $250 in tools. So here's the core job. Here's the value. Trigger core job. Got 40,000 quote from dev agency. Here's the trigger. Here's the core job. Orientation job. Free workshop, build and deploy landing page in 60 minutes using your AI. Big job direct. Your product idea deserves to exist. Micro job. Deploy a landing page for your product idea in 54 minutes. Current solution problem. Your freelancer just asked for another 3,000 to fix the scope. So here's the algorithm. You have formulas based on your core jobs, big jobs, triggers, pain points, emotions, value, fears, everything you have for your desired customer segment and your product providing this value for your customer segment. And the skill is using many formulas, and it's playing with this information like with Lego, and it's building you. It can build you literally hundreds and thousands of ad copies for your desired customer segment, and for your product, and for exact value you're providing for this customer segment with your product. Getting back to the landing page. Generated in black. I don't like it in black. You can change it in a few seconds, and we've got good enough. It's not great. It's not amazing. You can definitely make it much better, but it's good enough for 5 minutes. I've spent my 5 minutes to describe the idea of my product. And using the Aura and the Advanced Ustinov framework, it took the information and built good enough landing page copy for my product with all the value, curriculum, also value recognition. Sorry, not recognition. I'm recognizing myself, explaining how it works, big job outcome, free to ask questions, killing competition, etc., etc., etc. So if your job is to create funnels, skills is a bliss. And I really invite you to use them, to play with them, to tinker, and to make workflows, creating and tinkering literally hundreds of them. That's it.
Cool. Couple questions I have. So I'm just trying to understand it better and like put it into my head. So basically, you're applying a framework from vibe coding and development where you create a PRD for a product, like for code for developing a product, to product management and user acquisition and all of that. So basically, you have a skill to create a product requirements document with details about segment, jobs, offers, value, all of that. And once you have that context, you can apply it to create landing pages, creatives, ad copy.
Yes.
Cool.
You can use your own context. The main thing you have to have are segments, their jobs, the value you're providing, barriers and fears, and how you're decreasing them, the knowledge you communicate, the knowledge that you have proven that is working to sell your product, all the triggers that are working, all the pain points that are working, all the emotions, etc. PRD.md is the basis of every product, and for my own products, launching new products, working with existing ones is the product we create and keep updating all the time. This is the source of truth. But you can use your customer segments, for example, from the skill/segments. You can use segments and the value and all the information that you know that is working for customer acquisition as a context, and the skills for landing page copy, ad copy. Use this context as a necessary information to go to the next step to generate landing page copy, to generate increased conversion rates, ideas, etc.
Got it. Cool. Question from Max Epifanov, actually. Max, do you want to ask yourself?
My question is it possible to upload your customer data to make recommendations align with your brand strategy, product strategy, in order to make it more unique to you as a company?
Yeah, of course. You can provide. Okay, I can show you the my workspace for my company. Here's the demo workspace, and here's the real repository of my team. We have a huge context folder. I created the framework, and here are around 100 .md files about the framework. I have two products. I have Bootcamp for vibe coding, it's knowledge base. I have Product Managers online course, here's its knowledge base. We have Zoom transcripts for all the meetings for my team. We have segments and jobs for my product. And I have a Claude Code connected to this folder. And on a daily basis, I live in this workspace. And this is really a bliss. For example, here's the demo prompt. What's the most satisfied customer segment of my online course? Please generate 5 Telegram posts for this segment to increase awareness using real business cases. Write it in my tone of voice in English, save it to this file. And it will take a few minutes, but the idea that the more context you have, the better it's structured, the higher the quality of each act of your work. and the more time you save. For example, I had an idea this Sunday that my online course is too big and I put 5 online courses into one and I want to split it. And I've spent literally 30 minutes. I spent 5 minutes to create a prompt. So here's all the feedback from my customers. It's 1,000 CSV from Airtable with 1,000 customers with their intro and exit forms with all just text feedback. And I told them, find all the customer segments. Here's my old segmentation.md file. Find old segments, find new segments, find the jobs, find the undeserved jobs, and read all the transcripts of my online course and find if my course is too big and it is good to split it in 5 online courses. It took 30 minutes, so 5 minutes for prompting, 35 minutes work, and I got really good analysis with really good customer segmentation, jobs, and ideas how to split my course. And this task like this, it's really bliss. And I really invite you to try working with your own contacts with Claude Code.
Oh, I mean, now I want a separate session just about like playing with these skills. To be clear, we're going to share all of this, and anybody can use the skills already for free.
Yeah, if you want to use the skills, please go to this website. I've created it 5 minutes before today's session. It's on IP. It's not on a URL. Sorry, there's no domain. And I will get you an email. I will update the skill in a few days, and they'll send you email with GitHub with updated skills.
Got it. So the link was created like in 5 minutes. Skills were
Yeah.
a little bit longer. Okay. Question for everyone. What's your biggest take from today's session, both for the audience and for the speakers? I'll start. For me, it was just an interesting note that, like, Max, you told about video creative generation, like, oh, it's just normal stuff today, nothing special, it just works. I really want to talk to your creative producer about that. And the second, like, okay, Ivan, I know a lot about advanced jobs to be done and Aura framework, but for some reason didn't use it as much. Now with skills, I'm going to dive in myself personally and ask my team to do that as well. Yeah. Okay. Anyone wants to jump in with like what was most interesting for you personally, both from your presentations, from others, from questions, anything?
Yeah, I may continue. I was really impressed by the interface Aura that Ivan presented, because this is actually that I tried to do with ChatGPT like so many times, but the way that you develop
like a landing page or
like copy for the landing page or create like some ideas for funnels or for something. This is what I tried to do, but the thing is that with Ivan product you have like more context around it. It's not like just randomly generated. It's generated by some methodologists and frameworks that's globally recognized. And also the good thing that you can, like in a cursor, you can upload your context about your product, your company, your clients. This is the product that I want to use like right now. I mean, nice thing. Regarding the math presentation, I love the way that we still need humans to create like a strategy and to be creative. But if you're a marketer, if you just do things only routine things, which can be automatized, you definitely have to think about like how can you as a marketer like create an extra value like for your company. And I think that like being creative, like leadership, soft skills, is something that's it's difficult to replace. Yeah, so that's why this is the thing I think you have to focus on now. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Matt, how about you?
I think for me, just both Ivan and Max, just seeing how much innovation you guys are, sort of how you demonstrate the innovation you're sort of developing with these different tools, and how far you can get, and the things you can put together so quickly, and how powerful they can be, and then also then stretching what's possible using like context and adding in additional data and further sort of building on those systems even more so that they can do even more. And yeah, I think it's super interesting. I think about a lot, like how far does this go? Like, do we just keep getting better and better? So it's super exciting and just great to see it come alive in those examples. So that's probably it for me.
Cool, thanks. Ivan, how about you?
My core takeaway, I believe that the revolution we are witnessing, that this revolution is really beneficial to all of us, all the specialists, because we will be able to do much more interesting stuff that we're doing right now, because boring and soul-crushing work will definitely go away, and we'll go a few levels up, like Matt showed his slide. And I believe this will create, this will be much better for the business, and it will be much more interesting for all of us.
Got it. Nice. So by the way, how do we subscribe to you? Like LinkedIn, X, newsletters?
If the question is for me, I will show them my LinkedIn. I hadn't. I didn't prepare the QR code, but you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Ivan Zamesin.
Cool. Okay, final notes. We'll be putting a QR code right now, and we'll send and publish everything. There will be like a webinar hub. Actually, Evelyn already posted a link somewhere in the comments, and we'll send it and we'll show it now with all their speaker notes, presentations, links where to subscribe, and Ivan's skills that he's sharing. So feel free to use all of that. Also, it was just the first webinar of a long series where we explore how performance marketing teams transition from manual work to using AI, automation, and eventually autonomous systems. That's what inspires me the most. How can we eventually go to fully autonomous mode? So keep an eye on upcoming sessions. Stay tuned, subscribe to everyone, and see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.